Now, say my name.
The Rolling Bad Podcast.
You're goddamn right.
Welcome to the Rolling Bad Podcast, episode number 62, coming to you from the desolate wastelands of Albuquerque, New Mexico, and the sunny shores of San Diego, California. We are recording on Saturday, the 2nd of February. I'm your host, Bill Costello. With me tonight is
Ryan Taylor.
And special guest starring...
Oh, Scott Reed out here in not so sunny San Diego. It's been raining most of the day.
Ah, you ruined it for me.
Well, it'll be sunny eventually. It always is.
That's true. You have that going for you. So, yeah, folks, we actually have a special guest star. We have the guy who is the TO for the Las Vegas Open, which you should know is coming up in less than a week. So we want to thank Scott for taking in what has to be a hectic and busy time, and he's going to give us a couple of hours to inform us and illuminate us. Thank you, Scott.
It allows me to climb out from under the pile of terrain, so it's fine.
I got to say, I'm amazed at the sheer volume of stuff that you've been putting in the chat, that you've been building. It is just crazy.
Yeah, there's a lot to do. I mean, 40K, they're going to not quite 800, I think.
Yeah.
150-ish. Every time I go in, some more people have either bought or sold or traded back in their tickets.
Yeah.
So we keep bouncing around there.
Yep.
And I think for me, it's not just the beauty or the amount, of terrain that you've posted in the chat. It's cohesive tables that look damn good. So
that's the goal.
Work.
Make a good show.
Yeah. So it's not just like you're cranking out polystyrene squares. It's proper, good-looking tables with enough room for those Sylvaneth players. So
yeah,
and half the armies now that can bring their piece of terrain with them. So, but they're looking really good. So great work, Did.
Yeah,
thank you.
Great work.
Yeah, I want to be used as the meme again. I don't know if you saw the meme of the tables of styrofoam and then the tables that looked different.
Yeah,
that were compared.
Yeah.
Yeah, those were our tables last year for AOS.
Yeah, they were.
As soon as I saw it, I'm like, that's not my fault. I didn't do it, Reese. I didn't take this picture.
What we should do is just take a picture of the new tables and then the new tables and be like, oh, LVO terrain. God.
Yeah.
Yeah. The same table. It'd be funny.
So anyway, also as part of the introduction this week, because we are recording a week after we recorded last time. Isn't it a week?
No, it's 2 weeks.
Oh, okay. Yeah. It's 2 weeks. One thing I want to do, and this has to do with the contest that we ran recently. I just want to let everybody know that all the boxes have been mailed except for one. And that's the one that went out to Fred Volsky, Voelzke. He still hasn't gotten back in touch with me. So if anybody knows this guy, or Fred, if you're listening, respond, please. I'm going to send another email, but your box is sitting there in my office waiting to go out. And I also want to apologize to our two British winners over there in the UK, because Friday I came home to find both of their boxes on my porch. And I was like, what the heck? And they had been refused by British Customs because I didn't have the right forms, even though I took them to the post office and said, I need to send these to England. What do I do? And she said, well, you do all these customs forms, and filled all that stuff out, and it was still wrong. So I spent a big portion of my day today at the post office arguing with them about whether or not I have to pay for these things again. And yes, by the way, you have to pay for them again. But they're back on their way. They're winging their way back to the UK. And I kept trying to tell them that most of this stuff was produced in the UK. So why should I have to pay customs to send them back home?
Just deport them. Yeah. I'd like to deport this box back to the UK, please.
That's right. Yeah.
Just make sure it goes to this place.
Yeah. To this guy who shipped it to me badly. So anyway, I want to apologize to Neil Curtis and Tom Eilert because, yeah, they should have had their boxes like a month ago, and they are still winging their way over. So other than that, for today's show, we're going to have some cool stuff in the new dawn. We're going to talk about not a lot of AOS news, so it's going to be pretty quick. We're going to talk about some of the stuff that came out in White Dwarf. We'll do a little bit of creation because Scott has been creating God, and I did a little bit of a tank.
Little one, yeah, tiny tank.
Yeah, tiny tank. And for battle, we're going to recap the Call to Glory over there in Australia. That was an amazing tournament. And we're going to talk a little bit about the Euro Masters, the European Masters, or UK Masters, I'm sorry. Then we'll jump into the realm of Gyron, and we'll talk about a whole bunch of things that we don't really know because it's all fantasy anyway. Right?
Pretty much.
Okay, yeah.
Get to the realm of life. End our series on...
a high note.
Well, end our series on the realms that you can fight in.
Yeah.
Should be how it's said. Because we still have Azir and the Chaos Realms to go.
Yeah.
So... Chaos Realms, it's just going to be an infinite loop episode. 44 hours of us talking about Chaos.
Yeah.
It's going to be great.
And we'll all be drunk.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm not committed to 44 hours. It'll just be Bill going.
Yeah.
On loop. It'll be great.
Yeah. Trust us. It'll be fun. All right. So are we ready to move on to New Dawn?
Yep. Let's kick it off.
All right, so here we are over in the New Dawn, where we're going to talk about the cool stuff that's coming up and coming out and released. And before we get into new items, I want to do a correction from our last show, where I mentioned that the Middle-earth strategy battle game, the General's Accessory Pack, was just a reissue of the one they had done before, and that was dead wrong, because it's completely updated for the new edition of the rules with new counters. Even the pads for annotating your army are slightly different. So it's not a waste to buy this thing if you have the old one. This one will get you up to current with all the new stuff. And it's actually neat to have both because I was looking, some of the counters are duplicated, but a lot of them are new. But still, a lot of the old ones still work for their intended purpose. So it's still a pretty good deal.
Shame on you, but well done for standing up to your mistake. It's a growth opportunity there.
I know I threw it out there that I said I thought it was, the same old reissue, and that might have made some people go, oh, well, I don't need that. But in reality, it's pretty cool.
Nice.
One of the interesting things that's happened in the last couple of weeks is there have been, 0 releases for AOS. I mean, granted, we just got Gloomspite Gits, so we really shouldn't be too upset, but this week's releases was Kill Team Arena.
And the week before that, we had the Underworld stuff.
Yeah.
But you're right.
Mm-hmm.
Little break,
yeah,
which is fine.
And now, this week is all about Gene Stealer cults.
Oh, they look so good.
Oh, man, don't they?
The bike dudes. I'm going to use their proper names, obviously, because
I
know so much about 40k. So the bike dudes with a little Halo-esque javelin thing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, great. Beautiful. Yeah. And then the female mages.
Yeah.
Magus.
Yeah.
Oh, great.
They're all just gorgeous. Well, I mean, they haven't released a crappy model in I don't know how long. Don't say Sanguinius, because I'll reach over there and...
Yeah, I suppose you're right. I mean, I didn't like the Danko Trogos face, so...
Really?
Yeah, I like Sturpy. Don't like it. But hey, that's one person's opinion, and you can not like stuff, and you could also everybody could love stuff. You just don't need to be mean to people for it. But I agree, on the whole, they've just been knocking it out of the park. Even Forge World, who sometimes that Sanguinius model, they came out.
Oh man,
looks like he's falling over. Looks like he's surfing. Looks like he's skiing. Classical pose. Looks way better when he has a spear in his hand.
Yeah.
But yeah, some really cool stuff came out of the Horus Heresy Weekender this week. A giant... so I'm just going to briefly go over some of these things and not use their proper names because that's way more fun. So,
oh yeah.
The new Funko Pop. Oh, sorry, it's Crassus Knight Astarius, but it looks like a giant Funko Pop. That's kind of cool.
You're so bad.
And then a giant Well, it could be a bullet or it could be a mining tool, like Scanty Kill. But I think the best thing that came out of this, it's not the new heads, it's not the new expansion for Necromunda.
What?
It has to be bomb rats. That's right.
Oh, yeah.
Rats with bombs. That beat heads, so you know how excited I am about bomb rats.
I can't believe that. Anything tops heads, that's wow.
They are introducing demons in Horus Heresy.
Who knew?
That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll get some alternative old sculpts.
Yeah.
To set back in that time period when demons look different.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, some fun stuff coming out. I know you picked up the Urban Conquest, Bill.
Oh, yeah. And
what do you think?
that is what I wrote on our show notes is something that I won't say on the air, but it's an amazing idea and concept and set. And I have already started translating it over to AOS because the way they do the map in that thing, and I think we talked about this, we touched on it a little in the narrative show, was the map is set up on a grid of card holders that you then deal your map from a deck that has locations. And if you remember when we were talking about map-based campaigns last time, you were saying how it becomes more of a strategic thing when you're basing it on a map. Well, theirs is in a single city. So yeah, it's a little strategic, but it's also reasonably tactical. And you can make cards for any kind of scale that you want. So I've been, this whole week, I've been working on, trying to make cards and cutting out art to have, even a city fight kind of thing for AOS or even a larger scale map. So I thought that was just such a great concept. And obviously they're not going to put out an AOS sheet like they did for Urban Conquest, because it's like 2 or 3 times the size of the box with all the ways that the cards slip in. But I also figured that you can just use those card holders that, for Magic cards or football cards, baseball cards. You just tape a couple of those together and boom, you have the exact same thing. So that's where my narrative campaign thing is going.
Sweet. Sounds good.
Yep. Oh, one other thing. The White Dwarf came out today.
I picked it up.
Yes, you did.
So I would like to apologize to anybody who may have subscribed in the US. I got a message today saying that the rumor is subscribers in the US won't see their copy of February's White Dwarf for 3 weeks. So I feel really bad. I really do. I'm sitting here going, well, I went and picked mine up today. Great. However, there's some people who were like, oh yeah, I'm in. I'm in for February. And now they won't get it for a while. I don't know what to say. It's been a problem before.
Yeah.
And I knew that's one of the reasons why I stopped my subscription. The person who mentioned it to me, who I won't mention just in case, definitely had a good idea. Pre-order it the week before and you'll get a week after.
Right.
It no longer has new release content, stuff like that.
Right. It's not the catalog anymore. So
yeah, so you don't need it right there and then. You'll get it the next week. That may be the best way for it if you don't have a local gaming store or a GW to go and pick it up from. So I apologize to anybody who may have picked up a subscription and is affected by this rumor. Or it could just be a rumor and
yeah,
you got the cool cover.
Yeah. And it's almost on its way to your house. So, but one of the cool, I'm not going to belabor this too much because people might not have access to it. But one of the very cool things in this White Dwarf for AOS is the continuation of John Bracken's rules for skirmish. And this month's installment is the campaign system. So I haven't had a chance to really pour over it, but it still looks very, very cool. And I trust John to do the right things. So, but we won't belabor that until next time.
Yeah, we'll go
just in case.
We'll dig into White Dwarf once we've had a chance to read it.
Yeah.
What do you think, Scott? Have you managed to pick it up, or do you not get White Dwarf
in a long time?
You've not picked it up in a long time?
When it was electronic, I got it right away, and that was great. But I just don't want another collection of magazines around my house, so it's...
Yeah, I hear you.
Why I consumed it was when they did it electronically, and then they stopped, so...
Yeah, I could hear you on that.
Yeah, that made me sad, too. So anyway, for the remainder of our New Dawn, we are going to be regaled by Mr. Scott Reed on anything that he wants to share with us about LVO. We're going to bust our butts to get this show out, obviously, hopefully tomorrow, which is Sunday the 3rd, maybe Monday the 4th, but it'll be out before LVO. So, Scott, do you have anything you really want to share about people that are coming to the tournament and what they should be aware of?
Say thank you for coming.
Yay!
That would be a big start point. We've got in the neighborhood of about 150 players signed up, give or take. It keeps moving back and forth because some people can't make it. At this point, there are people just letting us know they're not going to make it, and then other people buying tickets. So it bounces around that area. List submission will be due Sunday, so your list should already be in by the time you're hearing this.
Right.
Or shortly after. And it'll be 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, or 12 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, 9 o'clock where I am, to get that in. We've been pouring through them. The guys from the Best Coast Pairings app have been going through the lists and forwarding any issues to me, and I've been emailing the people involved and then collecting the information and sending it back to them.
Right, and there is a format for those lists, right?
Yeah, they have a video for how to put those in, and all of my emails usually say, if you're having problems, let me know. I've had a few people just email me their list, and then I forward it to Garrett there at Best Coast Pairings. So,
and I had also heard that Best Coast Pairings had done an update where you can basically import from Scroll Builder. I saw that yesterday, where it made the format really straightforward looking on their app.
Their preferred is grab it as text from there and dump it in that way.
Yeah, and it'll automatically format it in the right way, which is kind of cool. From what I saw, I don't know if that's exactly what you guys were looking for, but I saw a few posts about that yesterday on the old Tweeterverse. So, let's go. So what is LVO? For anybody living under a rock, or just, what does it stand for? What is it?
Vegas Open is usually either end of January, beginning of February. The date moves around a little bit. I think they're going to keep it at the weekend it's at, which is the second weekend in February. That's their goal. For guys at Frontline Gaming put this on, it's will be the largest 40K tournament happening. The event itself has thousands of people who come.
Oh, yeah.
It's a huge event. Lots of vendors coming, lots of games being played. And it's at Bally's there in Las Vegas. So it's a good time. It's a great place to bring actually the family, because there's so many other things to do in Vegas. While moving little army men, they can go and check out museums or any of the number of other things that are a part of Vegas experience.
Mortgage the house, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. All on black.
Tables. Yeah.
I'd like to put my AOS army on black, please. They'd probably take that bet.
Oh, they would.
It's in boxes. I mean,
well, it's as good as money then.
Yeah, exactly. So are Games Workshop coming along this year, or are they
some Games Workshop presence there? The Frontline Gaming stream from Twitch will be AOS and one charity event going on, which is all the material will be out there. And their American team, that would be Frankie and Jeff Robinson, will be doing the 40K coverage.
Right.
So you'll actually have on the GW stream will be 40K, all the Champs games. And on their personal stream on Twitch will be all the AOS stuff. And like I said, the one charity event. I don't know the specifics about it. I know they talked about it once. But I just haven't.
The charity event.
About their show.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to jump in on you, but the charity event is Alex Fennell and the guy who is the CEO for that League of Legends. The two people that were involved in that little incident that happened last year, that sportsmanship deal where Alex handled it perfectly and impressed a whole lot of people with his sportsmanship. And because of that, he was given a check for like $5,000 to go to a charity of his choice.
Yeah.
And then his company matched it, and then GW matched that. So it turned into be one big donation to a charity. So those two guys are going to get together and have another charity game to raise funds for, charity. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very cool.
But I'm not sure what they're doing. Oh, wait, no, they talked all about that on the show. Yeah, that should be cool. It's a huge event. We get lots of things. Forge World's coming in. GW will be doing its normal preview show. So Thursday night we'll get a sneak peek of what's coming.
Oh, it's so exciting when they do that. I set up, everybody's got radio silence. Unfortunately, I'm not able to make it for reasons that I can't disclose. Hopefully, I want to be in one of those rooms one day and just get to see it firsthand and just see it happen. It looks super, super fun. And I hope we see some
we were all sitting down and got to see the Daughters of Cain.
Yeah. Yeah, it's always fun.
Yeah, and the year before...
We'll see what we get to...
Yeah, we get to see some cool stuff. So I'm hoping for some AOS. That'll be fun. Hopefully, fingers crossed for some Slaves to Darkness-esque Dark Oath.
Oh, yeah.
That's where I'm fingers crossing it.
Yeah, I hear you.
Probably some Slanesh stuff.
Shh.
Yeah.
Shh. Keep it a secret. Keep it a secret there, dude. Let's just go main slaves, Slanesh next year. You know, he's going to take a while to wake up.
Yeah. And he's going to be grouchy when he first gets up. So, or she. Whatever it is.
He, she?
So what else do you want to tell us about LVO? I mean, is there anything from the AOS tournament that you want to get out there to the world before people show up and get upset?
Get upset? Oh, I hope nobody does.
Me too. But yeah, I mean, is there anything that's outlawed, banned?
Nothing's outlawed. Nothing's banned. We're using all the realm rules. Pick your packs if you want to. And the spells are being all used for the realms. We've got, altogether it'll be 5 rounds and then a top 8 playoff on the last day.
Oh, nice.
It'll be the top 8. Everyone else can do the doubles event or go enjoy Vegas on Sunday.
Right.
If they didn't make the cut. And it'll be the same as like March Madness. So number 1 will play number 8, number 7, etc.
Okay, cool.
Until we get down to the last game. And that'll be kind of the format for the coming years as it gets bigger, because it's gotten bigger every year. The first year, Bracken ran it, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was 64 players in that neighborhood.
Yeah, I think
last year was in the 90s.
Yeah.
Like I said, after attrition, 140, 138 is not an unreasonable number to expect.
Nice.
And
that's a lot of growth.
The frontline guys like a final winner, so of course, that's why like last year was 7 rounds.
Right.
They wanted to make sure there was a final winner, so once you breach a certain number of people, you have to play that many rounds.
Yep.
So anything over 64 players, you need 7 rounds, and we're over 125, you're going to need 8 rounds. Ooh, and if we grow bigger, we'll have to do 9 rounds. This year for 40K, they're actually having to do a 1-day elimination or 1-round elimination at the end of Saturday.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Of any other contenders, because they have so many people playing.
Sure.
So the AOS event on the Sunday for the top 8, so it'll be 1 versus 8. Winner moves on. Loser goes to a loser bracket, or are they just
losers done?
Losers done.
So we'll have 8 players in the first round on Sunday. You'll have 4 players, then it'll be down to 2.
Yep.
Oh, it's going to be so nerve-wracking.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be great.
That's the way they've done it, and with their 40K ITC. Probably should mention that this is the end of the ITC season.
Oh yeah.
So if you've been keeping track of your score, this event will point adjustment to everything.
Yeah.
A lot of the people sitting at the top seats are there because they have 5 full rounds in, including a major, a GT, and 4 RTTs. Some of the people coming don't have their major yet.
Oh boy, yeah.
So when they get that 5th score, that's going to change who's really sitting at the top. You can see a real change. Right now, Joe Cryer's been sitting up there for a while.
Yeah.
But a lot of the people underneath him nipping at his heels literally are 1 whole tournament score down from him.
Wow.
So they only have 4 in. So that'll mix up a lot of what's going on. So good luck to everybody trying to get those points. Since we're doing the lists in advance and they're all getting into the app, if you have the Best Coast Pairings app, you can actually pull it up and start reading the lists Monday. That's when they'll all go live.
Well, hopefully someone goes
by then
in there.
You'll get a yellow card, which is basically they have a warning system for behavior. They've got this code of conduct they've kind of put together as of the middle of this year for the ITC season.
Yep.
And we're kind of adopting it in the AOS portion for events they run. Because it's just, they have a standard format, and that yellow card basically means you already have 1 warning.
Right.
Or you're having a serious problem and you could be bounced if it's serious events when you get to your 3rd one, or you get a red card outright.
Right. And just to, you cut out there for a minute. I want to Good at
So
this.
just to recap, so you need to
Truthfully.
get your list in by 12 midnight Eastern time on Sunday, the
The
3rd of February. You do that, you're fine. If not, you've already done a faux pas by not getting your list in on time. So you're going to start with a yellow card. Seems pretty straightforward.
No, it's the system they're using for 40K as well. I made a soft, when they asked me about putting lists in, we were later than them for saying, yes, we need to get that done. So I said, well, it's a soft turn in. When they did it back on the 25th, 40K, you needed yours in on the 25th.
Right.
And they've been going through their lists, making sure they're all, they have a team going through those because there's hundreds and hundreds of them.
Yeah. That's,
Because we're new, we're not quite used to using this, and I have some people who should know better who didn't turn theirs in.
right.
And I'm like, look, guys, okay, fine. So we basically, a week and 2 days later, it's going to be mandatory for us. So
Mm-hmm.
That's good. I mean, it's just common courtesy to get your list in on time.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody can complain too hard that they weren't given notice. The deadline. Read the pack, get it in, and be all good. I hope someone else takes the time on Monday to go through and pile those lists and get some stats. Who's going? What's there? I'm sure Dan from EOS Shorts. I mean, he doesn't do anything on a Monday, from what I can tell. He's just there feeding through lists. So hopefully we get some good insight. I want to see what some people are taking.
Yeah.
There's going to be some fun lists there. I mean, it's a massive event for here in the US. And we just had CanCon, where we'll go over some of the stuff from that. And we saw some great lists there.
Oh, yeah.
Some fun stuff. So
the reason we want the lists is that's Best Coast is trying to get that kind of data together, where they can just use a spreadsheet and you can see who had what did well.
Mm-hmm.
So the post analysis of this event, they'll actually be able to have a serious breakdown of the data, and they're doing it for both games.
Yeah.
So we should get some solid stats from that, and then this is going to go forward. They want that kind of information on every event that they can get.
Yeah, that
so
makes
we'll start
sense.
to get a real good picture.
I mean,
of how people are doing.
Yeah, working alongside the information that LLV and the Honest Wargamer puts together as well. I mean, for some people, it's whatever, but I love crunchy stats. So even going into that last 8 pairings, we'll be able to see who should really be winning this. Outside of player skill, which list should be beating the other list, and does someone pull off an upset? Does the people riding at the top? What I would love to see is just like in March Madness, the 8th player going to the final. He's like, slipped in slipped in right at the last minute, but you know what? I'm winning this. Let's go.
This.
That'd be cool to see. I will be whoever comes in number 8 on the Saturday, going into the Sunday. You have my full support. I don't know who it is, but I will find you and I will support you. Your push for the final. But I mean, if you're getting to the top 8, that's an achievement in itself, right? So I don't think anybody playing into the Sunday should be too disappointed, even if they don't win in that knockout tournament.
Nope, not in a field of 150. So
that 8th person mathematically may have lost a game.
Yeah,
to sneak in. So it'll be exciting.
Oh, it's gonna be so good. I kind of wish I was going to get there, because even if I wasn't playing, would just be cool to sit and watch that unfold. Be a fly on the wall for a little bit.
The game's the first round, I think. I know they're planning on getting as many of them up as possible.
Yeah.
And they've reached out to some people, and I've reached out to some people, so hopefully we get enough personalities from the podcast community and Warhammer in general on there talking about the games. I've gotten the little flashy lights like Rob uses.
Oh,
nice.
On their stream, so we'll be able to see the objectives. Now, they don't change. I was hoping they'd change colors easier. All right. I could separate them easier.
Yeah.
Table, and I point at one of them, clicked on it, and all of them changed color.
Yeah.
So I walked away from the table into my kitchen, which is, a few feet over, push the button, they all change color. So we're going to have to walk behind the booth studio to change the color and bring it back to the table if that need be.
I was watching the stream there from CanCon, or I should say, Road to Glory, or Call to Glory. And he had to get right on top of it to change it without flipping the others. So,
yeah, we've got to find a way to do that because I think that's super cool. I even think it's super cool for non-stream games.
mhm.
The amount of times that I've played a game where you're like, do you still control that? Or do I still control it? What happened the last turn? Especially things where we're scoring them at the end of the battle turn, for instance, rather than per turn. I just think different coloured lights, or even the low jack version of just different coloured washers, or
Beads.
something like that. It could just, beads. It
Mhm.
would just be super cool to,
Yep.
for something for us to adopt just as a community.
Yeah.
I just think, or if you're bringing your own objective markers, you replace the objective marker with your marker.
Mhm.
Boom.
Yeah.
Thematic and cool.
Yep.
And you instantly look across and see who's got which. I think that's a cool thing.
Yep.
So,
It's really important to keep track of that because it's just now you can walk away and your troops can walk away from it. And you still hold it, so you need to be able to keep track of that.
Yeah. So, are we done talking about LVO, or is there anything else you wanted to throw out there, Scott?
Think of something later when I'm not here talking to you.
Oh, okay. And then we'll just add
That's
it
how that
later.
works, right?
Yeah, it always is.
No, I'm really excited to go and meet everybody who's shown up. I've gotten contact from all sorts of people. We have people coming from all over the place. Somebody's coming up from Jalisco.
Oh, wow.
We've got some people coming in from the UK and a few, I think, from Australia, I was told.
Oh, wow. Very nice.
that's
Yeah,
awesome.
I know the big 40K event's drawn people from all those places as well, but how could it not? I mean, it's the largest one in the world. We'll just be the second largest one in the country, so we're just tiny and
Yeah.
not that
I mean,
important for AOS, just 150-ish people.
Yeah, footnote.
Yeah.
I mean, with CanCon pulling 200. Oof.
I know. That was crazy.
But they're all contained on one big island. So, I mean, there's no way for them to go. Here,
It's true.
you can go to a different state really easy. You can go up there. I think it's and not to gush over you too much, Scott, but I think literally this is a testament to how you're running the events, the effort you're putting in, and it's amazing to see the event grow year after year. And that's because of the hard work that you do with your team to get that going, and the effort that you put in there. So I think from us here, who may be gone, may not be gone, but just a big thank you for the effort that you put in to make this such a big success every year.
Here, here.
It's very kind, but it's a group effort. I need people to show up to be able to run a tournament. So, without everybody putting in the time on their armies, showing up with the right attitude, because I mean, the first year when it was run by GW, everyone had a great time. Last year, a lot of great people coming and having a good time. We drew people in from the year before because of the attitude the AOS players have. So it's that community effort that really builds these events.
I'd agree.
I'm hoping that just continues to the next and the next and the next, that, every one of them gets a little bit bigger until we can't fit anymore.
I mean, let's just see if we can beat some Australians. That's the big thing. Just keep on adding people until we get more than them.
I don't want to necessarily beat the Australians. I want to beat them and then have them come back and beat us and just keep going until we can't
exactly.
possibly fit anymore.
Just keep
but
topping each other.
Again, there's only a limited amount of Australians, so that's...
But if they all played.
Yeah, I know. We send all our players across there, and they send all their players across here. We just do a player
Population,
exchange.
they get a huge percentage playing.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
true. I mean, it's amazing
And
what
we'd
they're
have
doing
to-
down there.
And if we had the same here, we'd have to have another hotel just to store that game alone.
Yep.
Oh, we can dream. Anyway, I think that's a good rundown at LVO. Hopefully we can get this out. Look forward to the list coming out on Monday. And then hopefully, if you see Scott, buy him a gin and tonic and shake his hand.
Sober for the whole time. I can't drink.
Oh.
Oh. Well,
Okay, that's not really true. People have already told me that.
That's the party line, right?
Specifically, that guy from Jalisco. We've communicated back and forth, and he's all, "Hey, do you like tequila?" I'm like, "Well, yeah."
Kinda.
Okay, so that's the New Dawn section.
Yeah.
Just as long as it normally is, but we didn't just list off GW products.
Very nice.
So, thank you, Scott. And we'll jump on into Creation and Battle after a quick short break. Okay, so we're back. Back. Thanks, David. So we're back, but we're back with the Realm of Creation, where we're going to talk about what we've done in the last 2 weeks in the hobby. I'll go first because mine is really quick. I have done nothing in the hobby. I have created space in my house.
Yes.
Okay, across to Bill, who finally finished a big model.
Yeah, I finally finished the Astraeus Super Heavy Battle Tank. Yes, it's 40K. And no, it's not Orc. I had to head you off. I'm sorry.
It looks a lot like a looted battle wagon, but I could be wrong.
You are wrong. So, anyway, I put pictures of it up on the Facebook page. So, if you want to see what it looks like in all of its Astraeus glory, Primaris, Space Marine, Pew Pew glory, it's up there. So, I won't belabor the point. I think it came out pretty nice, but that's for other people to judge, not me.
Yeah, I think it looks pretty good, even though it's not blue.
I say, because Bill painted it red, you just assumed it was an Orc vehicle?
Yeah, I just assumed it's faction. Yeah. Well, because Space Marines only come in blue, so I'm confused as to why he's painted it red.
True. It's true.
Unfortunately, I don't play 40K, so I'm just going to assume that all Space Marines are blue, because that's all I see.
We're going to change that one of these days. We're going to get you into 40K. So, in the massive creation department, Scott, why don't you tell us what you've been working on for the past, I don't know how long.
Let's see. Gloomspite Gits came out, and I've been working on those for months now.
Nice.
A new shrine.
Yes.
So that was fun.
That was beautiful. Your shrine is awesome. I'm going to have to steal the picture off our chat and put it on the Facebook page. So
I can send you one. I still haven't done the 2 cages that hang from the one side, because I have to paint the skeleton goes in it.
Oh, yeah.
So
it's funny you mentioned that, because every Loon shrine that I've seen so far does not have those little cages on it. So it seems to be the sticking point for most people that are doing that.
If you're doing like all the base work with an airbrush, it's hard to get the metal of the cages right with an airbrush, then the bones and everything else. So
yeah.
But with a card and a little bit of creativity, I can separate most of the mushrooms. I want to paint different colors. Low effect with the airbrush over all the small ones. Bioluminescent mushrooms, they're all like a green color.
Oh, nice.
And green, and then went over them with a really light green from Vallejo.
Awesome. So you did one piece of terrain. What
That's
else did you do?
That's the whole thing. That's it.
Well,
that's all.
So we'll take a quick break and we'll.
So I've been building tables. A lot of tables. Buildings and other parts do about 20 tables-ish. GW, they kind of threw some terrain at us. So much like if you've seen Domus's Twitter pictures, he had up a picture of a whole bunch of Azurite ruins lined up.
Yeah.
About 2 months ago. It was the same thing. I went to the shop and we were doing hobbying every Wednesday night. So I just started building the terrain, knowing we'd get to this point and it'd all have to be done.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, there's 20 of those, and then we kind of needed a few more tables. So I came home, and I've been collecting junk for, decades. I've been playing since before my son was born, and he's 19 now. So I went through all that stuff, and I've put together, at this point, 11 tables are ready to go.
Wow. I
have another 5 or 6 partially. Hopefully I get a couple more in. We can get those out. I have a cave table. I've got 2 different tables look like underwater. I figure the fish people are going to invade us. The fish elves are going to invade us. We're going to invade them, dang it.
I love it.
And I have the new ruin set. I have a whole table of that with them painted in this green scheme that Duncan showed us in the GW videos.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Another one of those tables ready to go, but I've only done the black and some of the dry brushing, so I have to finish the dry brushing, the basing, then paint and trim and glue those together. I have one that's going to be kind of farmland. I did show the church, the broken down church I put on a hill. Put that in the chat with you guys.
Yeah, yeah.
As I finish that. Got a few of my older tables that I had used in tournaments. I've kind of straightened them out a little bit. Because some people complain, usually the gamey ones, who want to know, can it be covered? So I've glued them all to bases and have it all where there should be no question. So this time if they ask a question, I feel justified in using my Nerf bat.
Yeah.
Kind of think. I know I've done more tables and drawn a blank because I got 11 of them in boxes. Oh, I have an elf table.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I remember seeing that one. That
Yeah.
one was
Okay.
cool.
One with just trees, and it has like a tree fort thing.
Mm-hmm.
2 of those on the table, and then another one with Gale Force 9, Battlefield in a Box, the 2 Elven Towers. I have one of those done with some extra terrain added.
Yeah, that looked great. You know, using those kits so you just don't get to see anymore. Really, really great stuff on there. So it sounds like you've been super busy making terrain, which is...
Yeah, in the last 2 weeks, that's probably what I've done. I've got a bunch of squigs staring at me going, oh, what about us?
Yeah.
You're like...
I got it buried underneath little bags of flock. They keep going through all my different material. And it's like, well, they can just sit on top of you. It'll be fine with you guys.
You got to be careful with that, dude. It's like gremlins. They'll start to multiply if you leave them under there for too long. It's fungus.
True. That's true. My entire goblin force is all the stuff that came out from the sculpts around, 1999-ish.
Yeah.
Those squigs still stand up. The new ones are cool, but the old ones, or the last round, absolute beautiful scalps. I still agree with that. So, yeah, I can't wait to see what you do with them. Your Night Goblins, or your Moon Clan Grots, as they became, that we got to see in the chat as well, and on the Frontline Gaming website, looked fantastic. I can't wait to see where you take the squig goodness. So I think that rounds out creation with the terrain palooza,
Yeah,
that we can call it. So let's jump straight into the realm of battle.
So now we'll jump into the realm of battle, where we're going to talk about the games we didn't play but watched.
Yeah, definitely. So let's go across to Scott, our roving reporter, to start with. So Scott, you've been doing a lot of terrain in the last couple of weeks. Have you been able to get any games in?
Actually, I did go out to play. Got a local guy him and I try and play on Sundays. The guy at the store is going to start a league, so 1,250 point league. If I find some free time, I'm going to put together some sneaky snufflers to add to my group, and that'll round me out to about 1,250. So
Very
I'll play
sneaky.
that tomorrow, actually. But we did play there. I brought some of my tables out just to test them, put them out. And on Mondays, we do a Path to Glory League, so I brought my KO on Monday night this week. Because
Nice.
I felt the need to escape my house in the terrain.
And he gloriously
Actually,
won.
before those
right?
2, I haven't played in like 3 or 4 weeks, so you popped me just the right time to actually get some games in.
Well, that's a good thing, because, I figured with all that free time you have as, TO for one of the 3 major events in the United States, you're probably just not really doing much right now.
No, just sit back. Yeah, no, it's
Letting
it's
the
been
money
busy,
roll
but
in.
I did get out to play a game. I've lost most of them, but I got out to play.
That's what's important.
It's 100% better than I think me and Bill.
Yeah.
Bill, did you get any games in?
Absolutely not.
Fantastic. I'm
Yeah.
glad we do an AOS podcast
Yes.
where we play so many games.
We play games all the time.
You know what? Let's pimp up other people that played games. So,
Yeah. I think real quickly, we're not going to belabor this because the word's out and the results are out. But the 2 big events that happened last weekend were Call to Glory, which is also known as CanCon down in Australia, Canberra. They had a pretty amazing turnout. They had 192 total players. So that's a huge number of AOS players. And the Honest Wargamer, Rob Symes, Rufio.
That poor man.
Oh, I know.
Did you hear him on the last day?
His voice was almost completely gone.
And then he's heading across to Belfast to do another one. So I don't know how that one's going. But yeah, 182 players.
Yeah.
I'd like to point out 182 players in about 90 to 100 degree heat.
Yeah.
In a giant tin roofed building. That place must have been hot at that point.
But they had the Honest Wargamer stream coverage was, first of all, first rate. It was absolutely great. But I think the thing that you take away from that one was the final game in that tournament was Caradron Overlords versus a Khorne Mix Army. That was A, amazing, B, kind of flew against all the conventional wisdom of what should be at the final table at a major convention, and C, I have to say, that was probably it was probably the best game of AOS I have seen on a stream ever, because those guys were playing at an extremely top level, and it was just fun and amazing to watch. It was fantastic, and it's still up there on the Honest Wargamer stream, so just go ahead and subscribe to Rob's stream so that you can see the past videos and watch that final. If nothing else, watch the final. It's phenomenal.
That was amazing.
Yeah, it was great. I stayed on up until the really late hours of 10 o'clock at night to watch that. You know, I'm lying there with my phone, just listening to it, watching it. You know, it's two armies. You know, we've seen Khorne up there a few times.
Yeah.
Bloodthirsters are insane still.
Yes.
I'm going to pick them up every chance I get because I keep on getting beat by them. Overlords, where have they been for the last year?
Mm-hmm.
Apparently in Australia.
Yes.
And a lot of Overlords players will say, well, they had 2 units of Stormcast.
Oh, yeah, big deal.
But if you watch the stream, it wasn't the Stormcast that were getting them up there. It was great use of abilities, ships, sneaky list writing.
Yes. Knowing your army inside and out.
Exactly. Which was absolutely fantastic to see. So, hats off to the winner,
Matt Campbell.
Yeah. For pulling off that game. And also to the Warherd player, the Beast of Chaos player.
Oh, yeah.
That was up there all weekend. Sadly lost before the last game, or I think he would have been in that final stream.
Yeah.
But I think it's what the Honest Wargamer talks about a lot of the time. Australia, absolutely fantastic of plugging away at an army and finding combos that the rest of us to go, ooh, shiny. And leave it pretty quickly. So
yeah.
So that's much better analysis than I would have given, because when people ask me, it's Australian meta. I have no idea. I don't know why those armies were there. I don't know.
Well, I think if you
did a better job.
He always does.
Well, they have to, you know, they play under such extreme conditions anyway. It's 40 odd degrees in Celsius, which most Americans don't know how hot that is. They're playing upside down. They have to magnetize their entire army to keep it on the board. The boards are just sheet metal. So, you know, they're playing under these terrible conditions with massive costs to put these armies together as well. So you have to be dedicated. When you're putting that list together, when you're putting that army together, you're not just jumping on there and going, okay, well, KO will be good for this month. And next month I can pick up another army.
Yeah.
It's a huge investment. You know, you got to fight a couple of kangaroos and drop bears on your way to the GW store. Everything in Australia's there to kill you, including, I'm sure, the paint that you paint your miniatures with. It's probably still lead based. But
this is why we have no listeners in Australia.
Well, yeah, probably. I could do a terrible Australian accent. That would just do it even worse. But so we talked a little bit there about sticking with an army, going with something outside, and we had the Masters come up as well this weekend. The UK Masters.
Yeah, the UK Masters. Now, this was an interesting event, I have to say. And I guess there's going to be some format changes. I'll let you get to that here in a minute. But I really want to send a shout out to the guy that won, who is, everybody knows him as Warhammer TV Dan, but he's really Dan Bradshaw, and he won with a Beast of Chaos list. And I tell you that, I wish I could have been there for that, because not only did he win the tournament, but he also won Best Sports for the UK Masters. So, obviously, that's quite a feather in his cap. So, Warhammer TV Dan, you rock.
Yeah, great work. Interesting list. Went up against some of the best players, if not the best players, you know, there are no easy games at that tournament.
No.
And, you know, when you saw the list come out, you know, some people pegged them to win. Mainly, I think, I don't think it might be saying this, but, you know, friend pity votes, yeah, he's my friend. He's still going to win. But I think it just goes to show, think outside the box, play your army, play your game as well. You know, don't get sucked into the hype and the 40, 60 sequiturs showing up. You can still fight and do it. So, great work, Dan. Congratulations.
Damn right.
So you're right. There's Ben is working on Ben Curry, who runs the UK Masters.
Right.
Wants to make it a new event. So he's going to run it alongside. He's asking for feedback. He's asking for input. So none of this is set in stone. But what he wants to do, change the event up so that it runs alongside the 2020 Bad Dice GT.
Yeah. Blood and Glory or the GT?
The Bad Dice GT.
Okay.
I think.
Cool. All right.
Yeah. So in the summer of 2020, he wants to run the Masters alongside it, and it's going to be a knockout event.
Yeah.
Similar to what you guys are doing at the LVO. But that Masters will have the top 16 players in its current state anyway, play against each other, knockout event, and the final will be played in an auditorium, giant screens, people there watching it, a bit like a League of Legends or
an esports thing.
An esports thing, which I think is ambitious. I think I like to see it.
I think it's very doable. You know, if you can get a game on that venue, like they had the final at CanCon, you will bring people in. You will suck people in because that game was great to watch. So if they can duplicate something like that, and you're talking about the top guys in the UK, so yeah, they're going to have good games.
And I think they can bring in I think you mentioned this earlier off air, they can bring in, the people that are maybe lost the game in to commentate.
Sure.
I would advise them to watch every Super Bowl from now until the event, just to see how they filled the time.
Right.
Football, for me, American football is slow paced. There's a couple of fast paced 12, well, considering the game only goes on for 4 15-minute quarters, the game goes on forever. So, but they keep you there.
Yeah.
And they keep you there with commentary. They keep you there with stats. They keep you there with the halftime show. I'm not saying book Beyonce for before the last round, but have something there. Have something there to keep people entertained. And I think you'll be successful. Yeah. And get going. So,
to dovetail on your point there, I think one of the good parts of that CanCon coverage was that you had somebody like Rob Symes sitting there and either telling you exactly what's going on without knowing what the guy's going to do. He can figure it out. And he was commentating on, what's the best tactic to do here? What would be the best counter to this? And so when you had Rob and
Dispossessed Dan?
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Dispossessed Dan.
Too many Dans.
Yeah, when you have guys like that, they kept it engaging, even when there was down, when they're just pushing figures around, they kept it moving. Here's what they need to do. Here's what they need. And, the Warhammer TV stream does the same thing. They're always breaking down the game and showing where they think things should be going. So
what was great about the Call of Glory coverage was they had AOS Shortstand.
Yeah.
There to cut to who was keeping up to date with the top tables.
Yeah, recapping the big wins and the big names. And
you see that on every sports coverage.
Yeah. When
there is a lull, okay, we're going to go to Tammy on the sidelines, and she's going to tell us X, Y, and Z about what the coaches are thinking on that. That sort of thing is where you'll keep the engagement, I think. Because as much as we enjoy playing or watching, playing Age of Sigmar, it can get boring at times. Those 2 turns of movement, whilst for the players might be great, seeing Model A move from A to B 3 times in a turn, like over the course of 3 turns, isn't that engaging. But having someone comment on it, checking in with the other games, I think you're on a winner at that point.
Yep, I agree.
It was amazing watching the little interludes with AOS Dan talking with things, because different people and different games, you never knew what he was going to say or what people were going to do, so it was just exciting who he was going to talk to, what he was going to talk about, and so every time they cut away, I was glued to what he was going to do, because it wasn't exactly what they said he was going to go do, but it was entertaining.
Right, yeah, and it wasn't too far off, the mark. So yeah, I thought
too far off the mark, coverage. But it was kind of somebody rambling on about their game and their model and what was happening, and he's just pulling them through it.
Yeah.
It's like he did it for a living.
Yeah.
Almost. It wasn't pro pay him level, but it was really close.
Yeah, I have to say. So, and then the last thing I think that we wanted to touch on in battle, and this is just a quick public service announcement, but South Coast GT tickets went on sale today. And that's South Coast GT is a tournament over in England, and it's put on by what used to be the Heel and Hammer podcast guys. And it is one of the largest independent tournaments that goes on in England. So if you're looking for a marquee event to go to in England, definitely look at the South Coast GT. And you can find them at southcoastgt.com or on their Facebook page of the same name. So
Yeah, so they sold 120 tickets in about a minute.
Yeah.
Which is great. And the number was still going up. And that was 6 hours ago, so I'm guessing they're going to be up there with the sign-ups there. So from what I see, they put a lot of effort into it. It used to be the biggest Age of Sigmar and Warhammer event in the world. I think the Australians and some American events have got them pipped in recent years, but I still love looking at the hobby content and the games getting played from that. So
yeah.
And just before we jump to the lore section, I know we're running a little long here, but one thing that I did see, Cult Glory, was probably the most in-depth converted army that I've ever seen for Age of Sigmar, and that was the Feral Flesh Eater Courts army that was all Seraphon.
Yes.
It was converted out of various trolls using different, I think his 3 Terrorgeists were Troglodyons, which were hugely converted. It just overall looked amazing, and I don't know who it was that did it, because I've not been able to track him down, but great work if you listen.
Yeah.
Keep it up. It's great to see that sort of ingenuity and dedication to a theme.
Yeah.
Because when you first look at it, you're like, oh, that's just another Lizardman army, but what are they using that for?
Yeah, what's all over
And then
that?
you're like, oh, it's a Feral Seraphon army. And you're like, okay, well, yeah, I can see that it's Feral. And then like, well, actually, it's Flesh Eater Corpse.
Yep.
And you're like, oh.
Trickster.
Yeah, I know. Absolutely beautiful. And that's not to say that there's not been other armies that I've seen that are jaw-dropping, but I just thought the amount of effort and the amount of overall coolness of that army was just something to write home about. So,
and let's not forget that that entire thing in Australia was the Heralds of War. He's run by Clint. He does their master scoring and has really the driving force behind that community. Everybody in Australia says if it wasn't for him, AOS wouldn't be where it is in Australia. So good job out there getting the biggest tournament in the world to date.
Yeah.
Someday, I hope to beat you. Just so you can come back and beat me.
Well, he's already planning CanCon 2020.
I saw that. They already have 200 tickets they're planning on,
Wow.
200 tickets, make it better. I mean, that's what's great to see is just that extra, that effort the week after an event, right?
Oh,
you know, what did I learn? What are we going to take for next year? And let's get back on that bandwagon to do it. And he also does a podcast as well. So
Heralds of War.
Heralds of War podcast, yep. And
it's like right underneath you guys. Somewhere.
Well, it is right underneath us because it's in the Southern Hemisphere. So, yeah.
I knew that was coming.
That's true.
Well played, Scott. Well played.
Well played. And also need to throw out a quick shout out to AOS Shorts Dan, or, AOS Dan, for doing a lot of the coverage and providing a lot of the connection stuff and the streaming stuff. And he was the roving reporter. And, you should just throw props out to him anyway for all the work he does, because he does a lot of work too. Maintaining the AOS Shorts website, and it's a great resource. And now he's opening up, well, I mean, it's been there, but invigorating the narrative portion of the site. So it's really becoming a one-stop shop for all things AOS. So actually, just kudos to our friends down in Australia, or up in Australia, depending on, what you believe. So.
Well, the Earth is flat, so...
That's true, so it's over in Australia.
Our friends over in Australia. That would explain why Honest Wargamer took like 44 hours to get there, because it's just a straight line for 44 hours.
Mm-hmm. Those Twitter posts were hilarious with them going across the whole planet, it seemed like.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much.
Are we there yet?
Yeah, are we there yet?
It was great. So, just wanted to mention that before we jump off into the realm of life.
All right, speaking of which, should we probably head to the realm of life?
Let's jump through the realm gate.
So now we're going to come to the realm of lore, which I'm laughing because this is the second time we've done this. But in our realm of lore, this time, we're going to talk about the realm of Ghyran, which is the realm of life, or the house that Alariel built. Now, we've said it before, but again, this is a very well-developed realm because AOS proper sort of started here. Most of the original 5 compendium books that came out after the release of AOS are set here in Ghyran.
Yeah, they link to Ghyran, the realm of life. You could say that in the first edition that Ghyran gave life to the background.
Yeah.
Because a lot of things are set in here. You've got the birth of Alariel and the Sylvaneth. You've got Nurgle, where we got to meet
some of the pivotal battles. I mean, the storyline started with the Stormcast going to Akshi, but some of the pivotal battles actually started with, it was between the Hallowed Knights and the forces of Nurgle.
We get to see Torglug get converted.
And the Redeemed, yeah.
Yeah, so he got to come through. I mean, so the realm of life, to sum it up, lots of luscious life, everything grows. You really don't want to be on the edges of it because you could just keep on giving birth repeatedly. I love that one gets thrown out every time we talk about this place, but you really don't want to be out there on the outskirts. It's known as the Jade Kingdom. There's a lot of resources out for this. A lot of books, even the first Mark, which I just finished.
Yeah, the new Black Talon is all here. Yep.
It's set in there. You can get a good insight into both Nurgle again, Stormcast again, and Sylvaneth again. But you also get a little brief look at tribes and people that live there and how they use the magic. It's very much earth magic, from what I can tell. It's very much rooted within that growth and the trees and things like that. So if we go back as we do on these things, back to the Age of Myth, not a lot's known. So the Age of Myth, Goddess Alariel in her lovey-dovey form.
Yeah.
Not the form that we know now.
Yes. I worked my legs form.
So it starts just dropping soul pods, planting the seeds that would come into later ages. And then the Age of Chaos, guess who comes in? Big Papa.
Big Papa?
Yeah, he loves life. He loves growth. He doesn't care if you give birth every second.
No.
He will just make sure you give birth to maggots.
Yeah. Or anything that would advance the cycle of change. So, during the Age of Chaos, this was very high on Nurgle's list. He really wanted to knock this realm out. He wanted to take it. He wanted to see the Oak of Ages in his hands. The Oak of Ages being the big tree of life, if you will. A metaphor for the tree of life. And at the time, Alariel was in her happy-go-lightly sort of form. So she really wasn't on a war footing. She wasn't the girl that we know now, the Beetle Rider.
No.
So,
and she had actually retreated. She had given up most of the realm.
Yeah.
The realm, Nurgle gets a big foothold in this realm during this time.
He pretty much gets everything except the Ethelweird, which is where Alariel retreated to and spent a lot of her energy to make sure he couldn't even see it. He didn't even know it was there. He was wondering where they went, but he didn't know.
If only there was a new faction that came out that could just guide chaos to the places it needed to go.
Wait, yes. In the guise of trying to help and knock back the Nurgle experience, we could have them, I don't know, kill the great unclean one that was sitting on the hole that led to where... Okay, we're recapping the book now.
But no, the Hallowed Knights show up and they go to parley with Alariel. They know where she is.
Yeah.
And Nurgle follows. And Dryka's there. All the people that have survived that Age of Chaos is there. And they are like, hey, we need to get Alariel planted. And she gets planted in a bunch of blood.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
She gets she gets planted in the blood or the tree sap of her number one guard,
The Lady of Vines.
So yeah, when the Lady of Vines finally dies, the seed that is Alarielle is planted there, and then when Alarielle reconstitutes herself, she's not in the happy, flighty little form that she was. Now she's in the, hey, we're going to war form. So this is the one you see her riding on the beetle and ready to kick butt and take names.
Yeah, and she has been.
Yeah.
Definitely. She's been coming through. So notable people that you get outside of the Sylvaneth, you've got Gardas,
Mm-hmm.
who jumps into the realm of Nurgle,
Yeah.
and then back out while he's in this realm.
Which is a hell of a trip. I mean, to get, for anybody who's not from the realm of chaos, to fight their way through Nurgle's garden and get out again is quite an accomplishment. So even though he was a doofus for leading chaos to Alarielle, it's a pretty big deal that he was able to do what he did.
Yeah, and a bunch of them jump back in later books as well, and then come back out. It just shows you how tough it's this. And I hate to do this, but it's the Space Marine syndrome in the books, right?
Yeah,
the Stormcast, super powerful, get to go and do these cool things, and then show up on the board and a goblin kills them.
Yeah,
it's tough to see, but yeah.
You also get Torglug the Despised, who is pretty much one of the big leaders of the Nurgle forces, but there's actually a point of light. There's a shred of good in him still.
The Celestin Prime comes down and smacks everything bad out of him, but then takes this little nugget. And he's actually one of the best characters.
Yeah.
He starts doubting himself. You know, he's shunned by the people that he goes up when he's in the Sigmar on and he's chatting with the other Stormhosts. He gets put down with the Hallowed Knights, and there he gets brought in.
They don't trust him.
They don't, but some of them, by the end of some of the books, and we'll let you find out on your own, start to trust him a little bit more.
They learn
who is there, but he gets sent back to this realm where he's got to fight Nurgle all the time.
Yeah,
and constantly it's like, oh, should I be here? Or, hey, Nurgle, who are you? Oh, no, I'm good. Sigmar.
Yeah, he's my guy. He's my new guy.
So we have some pretty notable locations in here.
Oh, yeah.
We've got the other half of Hammerhal.
Mm-hmm.
Hammerhal Guran.
Yeah.
Believe it or not.
Appropriately named.
Yeah. Yeah, we've got just a bunch of... We also had the Season of War pretty much in Guran.
Yes, the entire Season of War campaign took place here.
So we've got the Phoenicium.
Yep.
Hammerhal, and then what was the third one? The Living City.
Living City.
Yeah.
Yeah, and, Phoenicium, of course, Hammerhal Gyren and the Living City these are major population centers. These aren't just like, oh, it's a cool little medieval city. No, these are on par with what we think of today as decent-sized cities. These are the strong posts for Stormcast and for Sigmar's effort to knock chaos out of the realms. So these are big places. There was a pretty notable battle. One of the things they had to do was they had to get the realm gate that led back to the All Points, and they had to close that thing. So you can find some really great fiction on that campaign to close that gate to the All Points. That was really cool. I enjoyed the heck out of all that stuff.
Yeah, we've got and that's the Genesis Gate, right?
Yeah,
which
the Genesis Gate. I'm sorry, I didn't name it. Yeah, the
Stormrift Gate. That's the one that divides Hammerhal.
Yes,
you've just got a lot of gates in here, and they seem to be really key points as normal. They've all got really cool names. You've got the Gates of Dawn in there, which is the one where the giant bulk of the Great Unclean One destroys it as he's coming through.
Yep,
just to squeeze through and pop.
Yeah. He broke it.
Yeah. And you've got all sorts of things living in Guran. It's not just the Sylvaneth, even though they're the biggest thing.
Yeah, they're the largest force, but by no means are they the only things that inhabit Gyren. Gyren being a realm of life, you can imagine that it is pretty much teeming with life. So you're going to find just about every faction that you can imagine will have a a representation here.
Yeah, you've got an equivalent of Bretonians, the Order of the Furrow.
Furrow, yep.
They are dedicated to the Lady of the Leaves, as they call Alarielle.
Yeah, they call her something different.
If you look at the model, she's got some leaves on her
Sure,
back.
sure.
You've got the Root King, which I think it's just a throwaway comment in a book.
Yeah.
The author was talking about it, where they're dwarves, or dwarden,
yep,
who use bark instead of rock.
Yeah.
And metal. And I think that's awesome. That there's that nugget that you can just chip away at.
Yeah. And you can develop on your own.
And get some cool stuff. Obviously, we've got Nurgle in there.
Sure.
We also have a bunch of Zangor.
Yeah.
Tribes running around.
Yep.
And is Excelsis in here?
I don't think so.
That in Gur? That's in Gur.
Gur. Yeah.
Yep. Never mind.
So one of the things that I loved about Gyron was when I was looking for a place to put the city that I was going to develop to sort of be the basis for my narrative armies, this became almost too easy because I was able to find a place on the map and have it close enough to the Stormcast, close enough to the Dwarden, close enough to the Sylvaneth that I could conceivably have just about anything I want in my narrative forces and have it make sense. So, Gyron is, if you're looking for a place to do a narrative-themed army, you can pretty much guarantee that you'll be able to base it here in Gyron and get away with it. So, I mean, it's really... I'll put up a link. I developed my own little city-state so that I could have a place to put my Seraphon army and a Free Guild army that I was kind of thinking about maybe doing. I'll put up a link to the package and you can read it. I've developed a little bit of a backstory for the city and all that stuff. So, and there's some maps in there. And I just like to have it firmly fixed in my mind. But Gyron is definitely the place that if you're looking for an easy way to get into a narrative themed and you don't want to be locked into something like Akshi, where it's a one-trick pony. You got hot and fire, even though there's really frozen places in Akshi, but thematically it just doesn't seem to work. But in Gyron, you can get away with just about anything.
Definitely, and I'm looking at this, the city-state of, again, you've done really well. This could be an AOS because I can't pronounce that.
That's right.
So, but you've put together this little booklet and it's really cool. It's got a bunch of references on the back, which is even funnier. It's written out like a proper report.
Oh, yeah, that's what I was going for. Really, what it is if you know the story of the Battle of Rorke's Drift, it was an old British colonial time fight between some African tribesmen and a British group. I'm not going to delve into the history of it all, but it's an interesting little story, the Battle of Rorke's Drift. And what I did was I based the whole thing off of that battle and just developed it as if, well, what would happen if this sort of expanded into a fantasy thing? So anyway, without belaboring that, do we want to get into the mechanics of Gyron?
Mechanics are really simple. We're going to do what we do every time. We're going to go ahead and we're going to look at the realm.
Yep.
I'm going to let you look at the realm because it's in a big book in my bag.
Oh, okay.
And then we'll jump to spells and we'll do artifacts.
If you're playing a battle in the realm of Gyron, you are going to have access to the following magical spell. The spell is called Shield of Thorns. At the wizard's command, crawling brambles burst from the ground, forming a living barrier around his allies. So that kind of gives you the idea that this is a defensive spell. Shield of Thorns has a casting value of 5. If successfully cast, pick a friendly unit within 18 inches of the caster that is visible to them. Until your next hero phase, any enemy unit that finishes a charge move within 3 inches of the unit you picked suffers D3 mortal wounds. So that's pretty good.
Yeah, so we've seen this for a bit, right? With the Sisters of Thorn.
Yeah.
5 to cast. It's really low casting. You're going to get the stuff in there and it's going to work well to get out. So I like it. It's a defensive spell. Do you cast it all the time? Probably not, but you can still get in there and do a little bit of damage.
You know where I see it is if you have a unit of objective holders and you have a spare spell, that's where you would put that.
Yeah.
Because they're going to get charged. They're going to get beat up. So put it on them and just start chipping away at them as they're on their way in.
Exactly.
So that's what I would do with it. So, as always, each realm has a command ability all its own, and this one does as well, and it's named Command the Land. In the realm of life, even the landscape can be bent to your will. That sounds interesting. So you can use this command ability at the end of your hero phase. If you do so, a friendly hero can attempt to cast Shield of Thorns from above, even if they are not a wizard.
What?
And even if the spell has already been attempted in the same hero phase. Basically, this command ability lets you do that twice. And not from a wizard. That is huge.
No, because, okay, so you're not giving up your chance to cast it.
Right.
If you've cast it already. You're not giving up a spell casting to cast it.
Mm-hmm.
And in theory, you could then attempt to cast it as many times as possible as you have command points.
Well, it continues on and it says, if the hero is a wizard, using this command ability allows them to attempt to cast the Shield of Thorns spell in addition to any other spells they have already attempted to cast, and even if the spell has been attempted by either themselves or another wizard in the same phase. So it does give you that broad-ranging ability to do this a bunch.
So, but here's the thing. Read the spell again. Just the last part about how it affects units.
Shield of Thorns, casting value 5. Successful, pick a friendly unit within 18 inches of the caster that is visible to them until your next hero phase. Any enemy unit that finishes a charge move within 3 inches of the unit you picked suffers D3 mortal wounds.
Okay, so you can't just pile it on the one unit. But you could have it across your entire front line.
Right.
Still kind of useful.
Yeah, very.
There's going to be other things you want to spend your command point on. But yeah.
But this is interesting toward the end game where people are having to make, crazy charges towards objectives to try to swing, a point or two in their favor. And, at that point, 3 mortal wounds or 2 or 3 mortal wounds might be devastating.
Definitely. What do you think, Scott?
I like this one. I can actually use this one without changing it. So I like that one.
Nice.
Spoken from a true TO's perspective. I like that.
Yeah. Well, since you are coming through from the realm of life in comparison to the desolate wastelands here of Albuquerque, do you want to take us through the realmscape features?
All right. Well, you get the verdant landscape, which is, of course, the nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing
my
special.
favorite already.
Yeah, always Igneous growth. Starting at your hero phase, roll a dice. On a 6+, you can set up a Sylvaneth Wildwood terrain feature anywhere on the battlefield from any other models or terrain feature. So, people wanting to put a piece of terrain out that's going to actually block their line of sight, but,
Anything that gives more wildwoods, I am a firm opponent of.
Yeah, 100%. Hate it. Worst one. Yep, let's move on.
Mm-hmm.
We don't even need to do the rest of them now. We've got our best one that does nothing, and our worst one that does Sylvaneth Wildwoods.
Okay, I can stop then. I won't read Lifespring. So now what?
Lifespring.
Yeah, Lifespring. Yeah.
I read it. Okay. Before the battle begins, each player picks a hero from their army. Add 1 to the wounds characteristic of the hero that are picked. The heroes that are picked. So you can add 1 to your hero, 1 wound.
Yeah, this is this is a fair result. If you get a 3, everybody gets an extra wound on one of their heroes. So that's
on one of their heroes.
Yeah, that's a pretty much not hurting anybody.
A hidden festering corruption. Now, this can't be good just from the start.
I love this one.
At the start of the hero phase, roll a dice. On a 1, add 1 to the dice roll if your army has allegiance to Nurgle. On a 5+, pick an enemy unit. Should a terrain feature that unit you pick suffers 1 mortal wound.
Yeah.
That's not too bad. I mean,
no, I think that's awesome.
For Nurgle players, 1/3 chance for everybody else.
Mm-hmm. I like it.
Don't say that on the radio. Quagmire. Models cannot run unless they are able to fly.
Yeah.
So the ground's all sticky and awful. And
yeah.
Bog.
So that one's another one that's pretty even across the board. That's going to hurt both players evenly.
Unless you play.
I don't know. I was going to say, you got
Yeah.
Night Hunt, you've got a few other armies that can kind of
Yeah.
take real advantage of that.
I'd love it myself.
I mean,
You're like, yeah, it's totally fair. 100% fair. I mean, I do not play an entire flying army.
Yeah.
So, yeah, sounds fair. Great. Absolutely fair. 100%.
Okay, so I'm biased. Jesus.
you have the one in the Realm of Fire that if you fly, you take damage.
Yeah.
Oh,
So-
so you just have half the board in fire and half the board in Iran. And you do it against a realm, get in the middle with the city around it, and boom.
Yeah.
Battle Hammerhal. It's like Battle for LA, but Hammerhal.
Mhm.
There we go.
Okay. Anyway, the last one.
Yeah. Seeds of Hope. If a battle shock roll is an unmodified 1, then no models from the unit will flee. In addition, heal all the wounds that are currently allocated to that unit.
That's huge.
It's even both ways as far as it happening.
Oh yeah.
Just think about one of those new troll armies.
Oh
I
yeah.
rolled a 1. Oh, he
Yeah.
almost got that guy down. Too bad.
Yep. I'm thinking about like a great unclean one, who's down to 15 of 16 and just, oh, look,
he
I
doesn't-
won. He won't run though, so
He doesn't roll battle shock.
Yeah,
he
it's-
doesn't roll battle shock.
bummer, huh?
Single guys don't.
Yeah. I know, I was missing that part. Oh well. I just read
Sounds really good.
It's a unit of Dan called Trogoth.
that would be
Yeah.
kick butt.
They would do well. It's situational, but it could swing a battle pretty massively.
Sure.
So what's your...
It also means you have hope.
Yeah.
If they're to stop a unit from running away. It's like roll a 1, nothing happens. I lost 20 guys, but the 5 of them left, hiding behind that one rock. They're going to stay.
Yep.
Go. What's your favorite? What's your least favorite? I think we all know what the least favorite one is. The make a Sylvaneth Wildwood.
Well, unless you're playing Sylvana. Mine? Are you talking to me?
I'm talking to both of you.
Oh, okay. Well,
I'm inclusive here, Bill.
you know me, and my favorite is going to be the Festering Corruption, number 4. Because,
I like Life Spring.
yeah.
Yeah, I give everybody an extra wind.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty cool.
Since I'm painting a Grot army and you have very few opportunities in what I have in models to get more than 5 wounds, it'd be nice to get a guy with 6.
That would be nice.
That
Yeah.
one guy.
You're like,
Because I don't
yeah.
have I already have my army from old, so I haven't bought too many of the new models. So I've got I think it has 6 wounds.
Jeez. Yep.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Pretty cool. Okay, let's move on to the spells
Of the realm.
of Gairan. So we already had one, the Throne of Vines.
That's right.
So now we have Whip Vines?
Whip.
Whip?
Cool.
Whip Vines?
Whip.
Cool Whip. Whip Vines is a casting value of 5. If successfully cast, pick a point on the battlefield within 18 inches of the caster that is visible to them. Roll a dice for each enemy unit within 3 inches of this point. On a 4+, the unit being rolled for suffers a mortal wound.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
I mean, that can be nice at the beginning of the game when everybody's grouped up, from deployment and all that stuff, but it's real situational.
Yeah, it's like a fancy Drac off the breath
Mm-hmm.
point thing.
Yep.
Which works. Then we have Mirror Pool. So the Mirror Pool has a casting value of 6, a little bit harder to cast.
Mm-hmm.
If successfully cast, remove the caster from the battlefield and set them up again, anywhere within 18 inches of their previous position and 9 inches away from an enemy model.
And it may not move.
it doesn't count. It counts as their movement. Do they count it as a retreat?
No, it may not move in the
Pick-
subsequent movement phase.
Oh, look at you with their updated PDF there.
I'm just saying.
It does not say that here in my book.
That was a fact.
That was a
Mhm.
fact.
Yeah,
Yeah. I think that's
Yeah.
because you had people moving
sure.
9 inches away, then moving, then charging.
Then, yeah.
Archeon loved it. And
Oh,
so did
yeah.
Nagash.
Yep.
So,
But see, now this is also good that if you have a overexposed wizard type who's in a position that is no longer tenable, he can get out of dodge.
yeah, or grab an objective, or,
Mm-hmm.
that it's again a late game spell.
Yeah.
Get out there and do your thing.
That has a lot of use. I mean, it really does.
Exactly. Then we have Realm Blood. Realm Blood is a casting value of 7, so we're getting harder and harder.
Harder, yeah.
But if successfully cast, just heal D3 wins.
Nice.
Sweet.
That's good.
Yeah. I don't think anybody can complain about that.
No, especially where there's very few factions that have, a healing mechanic built into them. Having something to help your general or, a vital hero, that's big. Big, big, big.
Yeah, and it makes things that can heal even worse.
Yeah.
Makes that with the endless spell as well.
Ooh,
and you're
yeah.
You're healing a lot. In a Sylvaneth army with Alario, God, it just sounds totally awesome.
Ew. Okay. Anyway.
Moving on. Briar Storm is our next spell. It has a casting value of 6, so we're going back down.
We went back down.
If successfully cast, pick a point on the battlefield within 18 inches of the caster. Until your next hero phase, any unit that finishes the move within 3 inches of that point suffers D3 mortal wounds.
Where have I heard that before?
It's very similar to the whip vines.
Yeah.
But it's not, because this one is really a spell for board denial.
Yes.
You can go in there, but if you do...
It's going to hurt.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we just made deadly terrain deadlier.
Flesh to Stone is our next one. This one's a call from the past. Flesh to Stone has a casting value of a 7. If successfully cast, reroll successful wound rolls for attacks that target the caster until your next hero phase. A little bit of defense, but I think meh is my answer to this one.
Compared to some of the other spells here, yeah, meh.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah.
And the last but not least, Sickle Wind. Sickle Wind is a casting value of 7. If successfully cast, pick a point on the battlefield within 12 inches of the caster that is visible to them, and draw an imaginary straight 1 millimeter wide line between that point and the closest part of the caster. Each unit other than the caster that has models passed across by this line suffers D3 mortal wounds.
So it's kind of
a
lifey version of Plague Wind.
Absolutely fantastic when you cast it with the spell pearls.
Yeah.
Because you
that stupid line.
You cast it 12 inches away from the other side and then draw a line. A little bit of filth there for people that hadn't worked that one out.
Filth.
Or life. Whichever way you want to look at it.
Sure.
So, I think that's a really good spell. I mean, the 12 inches is a pretty decent line. I think that or Heal D3 wins are probably my favorites from this one. What about
anything to get your guys back up.
Yep.
That's my thing. My favorite here is the Realm Blood. Anything that can heal is okay in my book.
Nice.
But I have to say,
how many times you needed that one hero who's gotten a couple points knocked off him back up just because another D3 mortals is coming in his direction.
Yep.
Just adding 1 or 2 keeps him around one more turn.
That's right. Yeah, it's that insurance factor. So,
or you've
got most of the mortal wound. I'm so sorry. Most of the mortal wound causing spell stuff, they don't care that you're near a unit. You can just pick the hero. So if you got some way to get those back, just even a few points.
Yeah, or you've got those monsters that are coming on through that they just dropped 1 point into their crappiest band, and all you need is one wound back.
Yeah.
To get them back up to full fighting strength. And you could be...
It's one little wound and they get back up to pounding things. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, overall, not a bad lore. A little bit high on the casting value.
Yeah.
But some really good effects.
Yep. Yeah, there's really no spell other than, just some of them are very situational, but they all work. They're all good.
Cool. Let's jump on through to the artifacts of the realm. So if you've set your army from the realm of Garan, like Bill did with his city-state of
Quasimu.
Thank you.
Was that Quasimodo?
No.
Well, welcome to the city-state of Quasimodo in the realm of Garan.
That's what I thought I heard him say.
What hump?
Oh, hey, whoa.
Okay, that's terrible. We should stop that.
Sorry.
Anyway, so let's go to you. Would be able to give them either an artifact from here, in
or
addition to a weapon or an artifact. So since Scott is our guest,
Oh, yeah.
we will ask him, what is your least favorite and what is your favorite from the weapons of Gairan? So, going first with your least favorite weapon.
My least favorite weapon from Gairan.
Yeah.
Yep.
Gairan.
Great, that's going to be stuck in my head.
Let's see. Well, staff. You're a boreal staff. On a 5+, that hero cannot make a pile-in move in his combat. Anything you're relying on a 5+ is always terrible in my mind.
Yeah, especially when you
should
use
just do
an
a thing.
artifact. Yeah.
I've used the artifact slot, now I have to roll a dice. No. I use an artifact slot, I want it to work.
To work, yep.
Okay, so yeah, that one's at the start of the combat phase. You pick an enemy hero within 3 inches of the bearer that is visible to them and roll a dice. On a 5+, that hero cannot make a pile-in move this combat phase. So not only...
What are the odds? They're going to be within 3 inches, but it's still not close enough to hit me.
Right.
Exactly. So you've not only taken one of your slots for your artifacts, you've then had to get within 3 inches of a hero, and then...
Had to roll a 5 up.
You roll a 5 up. And if you do that, it can not pile in, but it can still attack you from 3 inches away.
That's right.
Or within 3 inches. So
yeah.
I think that's a good pick for the least favorite. Bill, do you have a different least favorite?
Nope. That's the one I think sucks. I mean, I think is not awesome.
I think the Entangling Blade, it comes in a close second on there.
Yeah, it's not very...
So pick one of the bearer's melee weapons to be the Entangling Blade. If the bearer scores if the bearer scores 1 or more hits on an enemy hero or monster with that weapon, subtract 1 from the hit rolls for that enemy hero or monster until the end of the phase in which the hits were scored. So you have to go first, and then you have to hope you don't kill them.
That's right.
Great.
Yeah. It's never one of my hopes.
No,
so
none of those are. Okay, Scott, your favorite weapon, or should we all just go at the same time? Because I feel that we should all be picking the same one.
I was going to say, what's the point of going? Who's your favorite? Because it's all the same.
Okay, 1.
Count it down.
1, 2, 3. Gyre Strike.
No. It's not my favorite.
Blade of Hammer Hall.
What is wrong with you people?
Sunderblade. What are you talking about? Okay, so we each have a different favorite.
Oh,
right.
Wow, this is interesting.
So
okay,
Scott, you go first. Make a point.
Well, I was just thinking if my cabbage with that big guy on top, use that add 1 to the attacks characteristic, because normally I give him the Iron Jaws artifact for the Maw Crusher for the boss on top that does the extra wound, but 1 more actual swing works out way more better. Mo better.
So you're talking about number 3, the Blade of Hammerhall Gyra, which is pick one of the bearer's melee weapons to be the Blade of Hammerhall Gyra. Add 1 to the attacks characteristic. 1 to the attacks
characteristic of the weapon.
Yep. So that's the one you would go with.
Yeah, because I was immediately thinking, well, that'd be great on my Maw Crusher's boss. So.
Yep. So my favorite, just from a purely narrative point of view, is the Sunderblade, which goes against normally what I always say I hate about artifacts. But in your shooting phase, roll a die for each enemy unit within 9 inches of the bearer. On a 6 up, that unit suffers D3 mortal wounds. Now, the only reason that I picked this, even though it's a 6 up, is it's everybody within 9 inches. So chances are you're going to have people. You put this on an attack hero, and you're going to be, since you're going to be mixing it up, you're going to have multiple chances to roll that. So that's why I picked it.
It's true.
So.
I also immediately put it on a shelf and decided not to pick that one.
It's okay to be wrong, people. It's okay.
All right. So, Ryan, what's your favorite?
Mine's is this Gyre Strike. The blade glows with a green light.
Everything glows green nowadays. Shh. Oh, God.
Pick 1 of the bearer's melee weapons to be Gyre Strike. Add 1 to the hit and wound rolls for this weapon. So, if you want to know how good this is, go and watch the Honest Wargamers final round of CanCon and see a bloodthirster maul things
Yes.
with this.
I understand that is by far the best.
In a game where 3+ to hit is common, or 4+ to hit, and some of your combat heroes just disappear. Durthu, we're looking at you.
Mm-hmm.
Being able to reliably add +1 to hit and +1 to wound is just invaluable from a consistency point of view.
Mm-hmm.
I would say it's even better for your Maw Crusher hero,
Mm-hmm.
who can go in there and do, because you can get +1 attack from him shouting really loudly. I mean, you can take a War Chanter extra +1 to hit, but you don't get that +1 to win. So I think that is my vote.
And you're right. From a purely, I want to beat face, and I'm just Mr. Super competitive guy. That is the one to pick.
I just want to paint my blade green.
I
can't do that if I go with the Thunder Blade.
That's right.
Yeah, so it's purely narrative.
So, and then the one weapon that we didn't pick, any one of us picked, and for completeness, we got to cover it because it might be important to someone else. Number 2 was the Jade Wound Thorn. And that one is pick one of the bearer's melee weapons to be the Jade Wound Thorn. If the hit roll for the weapon is a 6+, the attack inflicts 1 mortal wound in addition to its normal damage. So this is a nice little thing to put on one of your weapons that has a decent enough damage by itself. So you can just add that mortal wound to it.
If you have the ability to increase your hit roll.
Yeah.
It's a great weapon, right? Because it's 6+.
Yeah.
So you can get to 5+, 4+, 3+,
Sure.
2+. It could be pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, all these, I think the weapon side, really good.
Yeah. Yeah, you have good choices. Good choices.
I think better choices than the artifacts, but we could be wrong. Because
maybe.
we're going to go across to Scott and put him on the spot.
Oh,
Now, let's just cover the
go through
artifacts
this?
in order.
Okay.
Because someone might like something that we don't think is important, and it might be really crucial to them.
Okay, so we're changing up the format here on the last table of the last time.
Well, not the last one. We were doing it in order before. So, anyway, for the relics of Gairan, the number 1 is the Hypersnare Seeds. At the end of your opponent's shooting phase, pick an enemy unit within 8 inches of the bearer that is visible to them and roll a die. On a 5+, that unit may not charge in the subsequent charge phase. So as far as artifacts go, this one is kind of weird because it denies your opponent an ability. But again, it's on a 5+. So.
Oh, but the weapon on a 5+ was they can't pile in. This one they can't even get to you. At least your 5+ might do something.
That's true. Yeah, that makes it a little bit more usable. But again, would you use an artifact slot on that?
No.
So there you go. So who wants to cover number 2?
I'll did it.
Okay.
Verdant Mantle. In your hero phase, the bearer may attempt to dispel 1 endless spell wizard. If the bearer is a wizard, prevent them from casting any spells during this phase.
Egads.
Cool.
That is a endless spell turner offer. You can't beat that.
No, but again, I don't know if you use your artifact on it. Just because
It depends
is
on your meta.
Yeah, exactly. If you're going up against these grot lists with 12 endless spells, then great.
Mm-hmm.
Jump on board. If you're going up against corn armies, it's not going to be great.
You don't really care. Yeah, but if you're somebody like Beastclaw where you don't have a lot of access to wizards, this enters into your thought process.
Absolutely.
If I were going to a tournament, it might be in there, but if I were playing at the local store, I think I'm the only one who's put an endless spell on the table.
Yeah.
It wouldn't even occur to me to grab this.
Right.
Nice. Number 3, the Jade Diadem. Each time you make a successful save roll of a 6+ for the bearer, heal 1 wound allocated to them. Pretty cool.
Interesting, because your reading is different than mine. In mine, it says, if the unmodified save roll for an attack that targets the bearer is 6, heal 1 wound allocated to the bearer. So that's what the fact changed.
Huh. I love this. This is great. I'm reading
It went from pretty decent to bin.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I think it, and I think that's because you can increase that save roll.
Yeah.
Really easily. Phoenixes, I'm looking at you. Star Drakes, I'm looking at you.
Mm-hmm.
Could you imagine every time that a Star Drake rolled a 4+, he was getting wounds back? I think that.
Well, that's what's weird about this is it says if the unmodified save roll for an attack that targets the bearer is 6, not 6+. 6. So to me, that's useless.
Well,
They have to roll 6.
useless?
Yeah, you have to. I mean, it's not useless.
No.
It's just unlikely.
If you're
Yeah.
rolling up against Hot Dice Guy. So, but you're not going to know that before the game.
Exactly.
So.
Exactly. So,
I think you can find. I think you can find another artifact or something to actually save you those wounds. Because if you put out like a 12 wound monster with your hero on it, 2 wounds.
Yeah.
There's got to be something out there that would have saved those 2 easier.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying is there's better stuff out there.
Oh, definitely.
So,
number 4.
okay, the Green Glade Flask is number 4, and this is the first 3 words tell you it's no good. Once per battle. In your hero phase, the bearer can drink from the Green Glade Flask. If they do, heal D6 wounds allocated to them. Wait a minute. That's a chalice of blood, isn't it?
No, because
that's all right.
This is green.
Oh,
Blood
it's green.
is red.
It's
So-
okay. You're right. You're
Yeah.
right.
No,
So-
no, it's
It's
really
a chalice of
helpful.
blood for everyone.
But just imagine having a chalice of blood and this.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's the way we've got to think about it, right? Is for armies that can't heal,
Yeah.
absolutely fantastic.
This is huge.
D6 wounds back.
Yep.
For vampires or things that can heal, it just multiplies it.
That's right. It just makes it
Um,
that much worse.
Yeah. But again, to Scott's point, there could be an artifact out there that allows you to save the wound before you heal them.
Sure.
But if you want to come from Gairan, guess what? There's none so far. So,
Right. Yeah.
yeah. It's all about healing
Yep.
rather than saving.
That's right.
So,
Yeah, Gyropian Gauntlets. I believe that's how I'm supposed to pronounce that.
Yeah.
The bear, I think that's the way Gauntlets is pronounced, right? I got that right.
yeah.
Move an extra 3 inches while making a pile-in move.
So basically, that's a 6-inch pile-in.
Yeah, but you have to be within 3. I think what would have made it better is if it just added 3 inches onto their pile-in move, and that they could pile in when they were... It increased the area that they could pile in from.
You mean, yeah, if it just said get a 6-inch pile-in. Because as it's written right now, you have to be within 3 inches, i.e. you have to be able to pile in order to get that extra 3 inches.
Exactly. So it's good for things that fly.
Sure.
They can fly over the top of thin lines,
Yep.
things like that. But overall...
Or your hero that's with a hard-hitting unit, so nobody will be near him.
Mm-hmm.
Or you can go 6 inches to find somebody to fight. I mean, if that's the way your units work. Because I know that happens with my Iron Jaws quite often, is one unit will crush something,
It could also
charged up with them, has no target.
Right.
Yeah, but it also could be really good for actually grabbing objectives and things like that. Slamming in, the unit gets wiped out. You then pile in 6, and you get to go 6 towards the nearest model, but that's 6 inches. So that character that you think is safe behind your line, we've taken out that screen. We're now coming for you. So
very situational. Not sure I would use an artifact choice on it.
Yep.
So,
and then the last thing, the Wand of Restoration. In your hero phase, pick a friendly model within 6 inches of the bearer that is visible to them, and heal 1 wound allocated to the model. So
that's healing 5 automatic wounds.
Yeah.
So basically, in a 5-turn game, you're going to get. It's not great, but given that whole list, it's pretty good.
5 wins is 5 wins.
Yeah.
You pay for one of the... Is that an artifact in the order one that gives you a wind?
Mm-hmm.
Tenacity? Yeah. So you can pay for that, or you can... Now the big question is, are you visible to yourself?
Yeah.
Can you pick yourself? That's just a question I have. So
you're always visible to yourself. That was in their thing.
That's why Draika hits herself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ow, 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 ow.
Okay, so that is Gairan.
That's Gairan. Yes.
Thanks for taking a walk through the realm of life with us.
The happy-go-lightly realm of life.
Yeah. I mean, it is my least favorite realm, but also my favorite realm, because Nurgle comes from there.
Mhm.
I love Nurgle.
Yeah.
But Sylvaneth come from there.
I know. That's the bad part, is the neighborhood went downhill when they, invented it. So, you know.
Well, let's wrap this up and
Yes.
wrap up the show.
Yeah. Want to send another big shout out and thank you to Scott for taking time out of your LVO prep. I know you must be just crazy getting ready for that, and thank you for taking 3-4 hours out of your day to jaw with us.
Oh, it was my pleasure.
No, it was our pleasure.
It was Bill's pleasure. Yeah. No, thanks for putting up with some of the technological issues we've been having. Hopefully you've all enjoyed the show as well.
You're not going to ask for bad reviews again, are you?
Nope, we're not doing
Okay,
that
good.
this time, because you probably cut that out, so it's perfectly fine. I am going to pass across to Bill to round out the episode.
I don't know what to say. All right, so anyway, real quick, this is the last show. I'm going to try to get this out before LVO. Hopefully get it out tomorrow or Monday, and then going off to LVO, and when we come back, we'll be recapping our adventures at the Las Vegas Open.
Did you just say this was the last show?
Before LVO.
This is the last show.
No, you just went, this is the last show.
No, this is the last show.
Did I really?
And hopefully it'll be out before LVO.
Okay. I'll start that whole thing over.
No, just go with that. See
Right
how
to the
many-
right now. That's all good.
It's the last show before LVO. I put that in there just so that I can edit it in if I have to. So, yeah, anyway, we'll see you after LVO, and we'll give you a recap of all the cool things that Scott laid out for us, and tell you how it went. If you would like to get in touch with us, you can reach us on our Facebook page, www.facebook.com/rollingbadpodcast, all one word. Our Patreon page is at www.patreon.com/rollingbadpodcast, again, all one word. The Twitter account for the show is at rolling_bad, and our individual Twitter accounts are, for me, at Bill Castello, Castello, and for Ryan, he is at RT Gamer. All of our guests on the show will have their contact information in the show notes, and any products that we mention will also be similarly placed in the show notes. The music for the show is used courtesy of Kevin MacLeod at incompetech.com and used under the Creative Commons license.